During the historic Milan Fashion Week exchange, Meryl Streep meets Anna Wintour while dressed as the actress. At Milan Fashion Week, fiction and reality collided. While filming The Devil Wears Prada 2 in Milan, Meryl Streep made an unexpected appearance on Saturday, September 27th, at the Dolce and the 76-year-old Streep was seated in the front row of the show next to her co-star Stanley Tucci, who also seemed to be playing the role of runway art director Nigel Kipling from the movie. On the other side of Streep was former Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour, who is renowned for having influenced Miranda Priestly. After the show, co-star Simone Ashley joined the fictitious fashion icons, sitting behind them. In the eagerly awaited follow-up, Ashley will portray a new role. According to a Vogue video on Instagram, Streep and Wintour, 75, got to know one another before the performance and seemed to get along well, as they stood beside a leopard print interior in the video. Streep and Wintour gave one another hugs and engaged in joyful conversation. Streep wore her character's trademark white-gray crop hairstyle while sporting a latex camel-colored trench coat, black leggings, white sunglasses, a matching purse, and a leopard print belt. She was dressed in true Miranda Priestly fashion. Wintour, on the other hand, accessorized her maxi dress with snakeskin heel boots and a vibrant floral design. She wore her long-time bob hairdo and accented her ensemble with a pair of black sunglasses and a stack of gold chain necklaces. Ashley, 30, looked stylish in a black mesh corset, a high-waisted gold mesh skirt from D&G, black sunglasses, and gold hoops. Tucci, 64, donned a black shirt, gray waistcoat, and matching fitted slacks. The Oscar winner's visit at Milan Fashion Week follows her August filming a Met Gala-style event for The Devil Wears Prada 2, in which she was spotted wearing a glitzy red. Several performers joined Streep and Tucci at the American Museum of Natural History in New York City to film scenes for the sequel. Several actors from the 2006 first Devil Wears Prada movie, including Anne Hathaway as Andrea, Andy Sachs, and Emily Blunt, who last appeared on screen as Miranda's senior personal assistant Emily. The sequel follows Priestly as she navigates her career amid the demise of traditional magazine publishing and as she goes off against Blunt's character, now a high-powered executive for a luxury business with advertising dollars that Priestly badly wants. Variety reports. On May 1st, 2026, The Devil Wears Prada 2 will be released. The Milan Fashion Week moment between Meryl Streep, dressed as Miranda Priestly, and Anna Wintour, the living legend who inspired the role, will endure as one of those rare cultural intersections that feel larger than life. It was not just about the return of a beloved character, nor merely about a publicity event for The Devil Wears Prada 2. It was a historic convergence of fiction and reality, art and life, power and performance, one that captured the imagination of audiences around the globe. At its most immediate level, the sight of Streep and Wintour sitting together fulfilled a long-standing cultural fantasy. Since 2006, when The Devil Wears Prada first captivated audiences, the whispers have been constant. Miranda Priestly was Anna Wintour. Although the film and Lauren Weisberger's novel avoided direct confirmation, the parallels were undeniable. An icy, imperious fashion editor at the helm of a powerful magazine empire, shaping taste and wielding influence with merciless precision. For nearly 2 decades, fans and critics alike debated, speculated, and drew comparisons. And then in Milan, speculation turned to spectacle. The real and the fictional locked eyes, shared laughter and embraced, as if acknowledging the conversation that had been ongoing for almost 20 years. This moment wasn't accidental. It was theater, staged for maximum cultural impact. But that does not make it inauthentic. Rather, it makes it profoundly emblematic of the era we live in, an era where the boundaries between performance and life are dissolved, where social media ensures every encounter is staged for both physical and digital audiences, and where nostalgia and reinvention drive both fashion and film. For Meryl Streep, the Milan showcase was more than a reprise of Miranda Priestly. It was a testament to the durability of her performance and its capacity to transcend cinema. Few characters in modern film history have become as iconic as Priestly. Her clipped remarks, her scathing glares, her immaculate styling, all of it carved a place in the cultural lexicon. By donning Priestly's white-gray bob and chic trench coat in 2025, Streep didn't just revisit the role. She demonstrated how characters can evolve beyond the screen to become living archetypes. Miranda Priestly is no longer confined to a script. She has become part of the mythos of fashion itself. For Anna Wintour, the embrace with Streep was equally symbolic. Wintour has long carried the burden and the glamour of being mirrored in Miranda. Sometimes it has been flattering, other times satirical, occasionally even uncomfortable. But in Milan, by appearing side by side with Streep, Wintour reclaimed that narrative. She was no longer the silent inspiration behind a fictional character. She was a willing participant in the cultural dialogue. By laughing with Miranda Priestly, Anna Wintour softened her own image, demonstrating humor, self-awareness, and even a touch of vulnerability. It was as if she was saying, yes, I am that powerful, that influential, that iconic, and I'm in on the joke. The embrace between these two women also symbolized a broader evolution of power in media. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is set to explore Priestley's struggle against the collapse of traditional publishing in the face of digital media dominance. This is not just a fictional conflict. It mirrors the real struggles that figures like Wintour and Condé Nast have faced over the past decade. The handshake of fiction and reality in Milan thus served as a prelude to the very themes the sequel will interrogate: survival, reinvention, and the tenuous balance of authority in a rapidly shifting cultural landscape. Yet, the cultural significance of the Milan moment reaches even further. It spoke to the timeless human fascination with power and its performance. Fashion is, at its core, about performance, how we present ourselves to the world, how we craft identity through fabric and silhouette. Cinema, too, is about performance, actors embodying lives that may or may not reflect their own. When Streep's Priestley sat beside Wintour, performance met performance. Fiction met fact. The result was a tableau so compelling that the world could not look away. The ripple effects of this encounter extend beyond fashion and film. For younger audiences, those who may not have seen the original film in theaters in 2006, this was an introduction, a cultural gateway. For longtime fans, it was validation, nostalgia, and reinvention all at once. For the fashion industry, it was an affirmation of its own myth-making power. The runway show could be more than a display of clothes, but a stage where cultural history is written. The presence of Stanley Tucci and Simone Ashley further amplified these themes. Tucci's return as Nigel Kipling evoked warmth, continuity, and the comfort of familiarity. Ashley's introduction signaled generational change, the infusion of new energy, and the redefinition of style for a younger audience. Together, they framed Milan Fashion Week not as a static moment, but as a bridge between past and future, a dialogue across generations of talent, influence, and ambition. When historians look back at the cultural intersections of the 2020s, this moment will likely stand out. Just as we remember Princess Diana's revenge dress, Madonna's cone bra, or Audrey Hepburn's little black dress and breakfast at Tiffany's, we will remember the sight of Miranda Priestly and Anna Wintour side by side in Milan. It was not about what they wore alone, though the fashion was striking. It was about what the encounter meant. It was about the collapse of barriers between art and life, between parody and reality, between myth and truth. In that embrace, we saw more than two women. We saw the convergence of decades of cultural history. We saw the endurance of icons. We saw the ways in which stories continue to shape us, even long after the credits have rolled. And perhaps most importantly, we saw a glimpse of the future. A future in which the next chapter of The Devil Wears Prada will not simply recycle the past, but will challenge us to think about power, ambition, and identity in entirely new ways. Milan Fashion Week 2025 will be remembered as more than a celebration of couture. It will be remembered as the stage where history, myth, and imagination merged. In that moment, Meryl Streep did not merely play Miranda Priestly. She became her. Anna Wintour did not merely inspire a character. She embraced her. And together, they reminded us why fashion and cinema endure, because they are not just industries. They are mirrors reflecting who we are, who we were, and who we dream of becoming. That is the true legacy of Milan. That is why this conclusion matters. And that is why, when The Devil Wears Prada 2 finally graces the screen in May 2026, it will not just be another film release. It will be the continuation of a cultural story that began decades ago and that, as Milan has proven, still has the power to stop the world in its tracks.